Today we are testing together a special type of watercolors. My sister gifted me these unique watercolors for Christmas. They were on my wish list for a long time, so I'm very happy to test them with you today. Their name is Kuretake Gansai Tambi Sumi. Kuretake is a Japanese brand of watercolor. They are particular because of these wide pens compared to other brands I've never tried before, but this Sumi edition is very unique. Why? Because they are inspired by the Sumi Chinese ink, and indeed they are black shades, but each one of them has a sub-shades in it. As you can see in my swatches, each one of them has a sub-shade of different color: yellow, green, red, blue, violet and brown. You may have seen this one in my latest short. It's my first test with these watercolors. They come in this paper box, which I found very light for traveling. By the way, this video is not sponsored by Kuretake. My name is Luigi, also known on social media as illustrazionidilut. I'm a self-taught artist and a physicist, and in this channel I'm talking about art supplies and painting, drawing. Subscribe if you want to see more. So I pick up a cool reference from my Pinterest board. You can find it in my profile on Pinterest. And I start now with a graphite sketch. I like old man portraits because you can characterize them with many wrinkles and details, so you can spend lots of time on it. Quick overview of the art supplies I'm gonna use in this video. The sketchbook is a Hahnemühle 100% cotton paper. Watercolors are the Kuretake I mentioned before. Couple of jars. I bother to tilt the sketchbook here, and has a palette. I don't have mine because at the moment I'm at my parents' place for Christmas, so I'm just using a dish. Porcelain plate is gonna work perfectly. As for brushes, I have these two travel brushes and a flat one, water brush, which I'm gonna use together with this spray. Unfortunately, as you're gonna see, it's not big enough, the brush, so I'll do my best with what I have. As I said, these watercolors are black basically, so they are not suitable normally for portraits, but they have these sub-shades. I'm gonna use them in the same way I would use normal watercolor. So for skin tones I mix red and yellow subtones, and I get this black with pinkish sub-shade. The main thing I'm focusing for the first layer is to connect single parts together as much as possible, so all the parts that are in shades, such as the eyebrow, the part under the chin and the left part of the face, together. So basically, what is that makes this particular watercolor so unique? On the box, Kuretake claims to have utilized the expertise and techniques developed over 120 years of ink making to develop these Gansai colors, which have 6 particularly deep Sumi-like color tones. Personally, as an ink lover and a watercolor lover, I could not resist to test this hybrid. I already knew that Kuretake watercolors behave differently for other brands. In this test here, I noticed that you can layer them pretty easily. Lifting is not that easy actually. They are very transparent though, so I'm not gonna worry about mistakes in this first layer, as I'm gonna cover some issues now with the background, also defining the main shape of the head. This way I can spare some time and let the first layer dry completely. For the background I'm gonna use the blue and the violet subshades. First of all, I'm wetting the corners of the paper so I can have a smooth transition, and then I'm using the maximum tonal value next to the skin, blending them afterward with a damp brush. I do normally leave the background as last part of the painting, as this is one of the most funniest part for me, but this time I want to speed up the process a bit. I'm gonna try to layer the background behind the head to make it much darker, and later on I'm gonna repeat this process again. And finally, after checking that everything is really dry on the first layer, I can proceed with the second layer. For the second layer, I'm just checking the darkest area and going back again with the same colors, mixing this time with the green shades in order to mute down the red shade. This is just what I've done with normal watercolor. And constantly checking to have a smooth transition and soft edges with a damp brush. As you may already see from the background, the behavior of this watercolor is something in between ink and watercolor, with this not that smooth transition, but at the same time you can layer very well as a watercolor property. I go on now with some wrinkle and details definition in the darkest darks. At this point I had to stop the painting because of an appointment. It took me a bit more than 1 hour over here. When I came back in the evening, I started again defining the last details and layering again the darkest darks on the skin tones. For the wrinkles, I used the mid-tone values with the same color I used before and carefully damped my brush. I'm gonna talk now a little bit about the channel and how it's developing. It's been 2 years now I'm working on this channel, and I'm enjoying making these videos. It reached monetization in the beginning of this year, which I found a great achievement, and now I'm looking forward for 2025. To be honest, I still don't know which direction I want this channel to take. I love testing art supplies, but I also want to show you a bit more about my art. So it may just be that I'm gonna keep these two different souls running in parallel in the channel. Back to the painting, you saw me adding some latest details and the second layer also on the background to make it darker. I guess I overall reached quite a good realism here, even if the proportion are a bit off. I enjoy working with these Kuretake watercolors. I found them particularly good for dark environment and shades and monochrome portraits, which is basically what I like to do, so happy with it. Tell me in the comments if it sparked some curiosity in you, and if you liked this video, subscribe the channel, leave me a good like, and I thank you for watching so far. See you in the next one, and Happy New Year!